How's it going, guys and geeks? Welcome back to the Geek Critique Show. I'm Dakota.
I'm Jen.
And we're here with Luna. She's looking around.
She's trying to eat
stuff
some
to eat.
geese poop.
You're disgusting. We're here at Glen Island, and we're here to respond to your comments from our latest Geekly Poll, specifically about Stranger Things Season 2, and if it's better or worse than Season 1. Guys, really quickly before we start, I just want to preface this by saying that this video is not at all sponsored by either Audible or Tor Books, but they just sent me a copy of Oathbringer, which comes out in 2 weeks' time. I'm so excited about this book. Look how fat it is. I don't think I'll be able to finish this in 2 weeks, to be honest with you guys, because I'm a slow reader.
That book is thick.
This is the third book in the series by Brandon Sanderson. It's probably his best series by far. If you guys are a fan of Brandon Sanderson's works and haven't read this, I highly recommend it. I think this is the greatest work of world building that there has ever been done. If you guys have read the first two books in the series, I highly recommend pre-ordering this one, especially on Audible, because they have the most talented audiobook readers for those books. If you're at all interested, I'll leave a link in the description where you can get 2 free audiobooks if you start a 30-day free trial, and you can keep those books, any of those books, if you decide to stop that free trial at any time. So definitely check it out. Guys, I hope you enjoy this video, because this is where we were supposed to take our wedding photos, but the day of our wedding, it has rained. Every anniversary that we have has been a rainy day. I think it's going to continue that way, but we hope you guys like this video. Around 246 of you voted in this week so far, and the first option, only 6% of you voted. Stranger Things Season 1 was way better. So 36% of you said that both seasons 1 and 2 were equally fantastic. 36% of you being the largest bracket of individuals who voted for a single item. That's awesome, because that kind of shows just how good season 2 was, because so many people loved season 1. I doubted that it could match what season 1 was able to do in season 2, but clearly they did. At least to the effect that you guys thought it was just as good as the first season, which is saying quite a lot.
Yeah, that is. For option 3, it is Stranger Things Season 2 was way better and totally tubular, and 9% of you voted for that.
22% of you, which is the that's the third largest margin. I haven't finished it yet. We get it. A lot of you guys have lives and we don't. So thank you for making us feel like terrible people.
And now we come to the most depressing one. A whopping 28% of you have not seen Stranger Things yet. Like, not even the first season. Like,
Over a
not
quarter
at
of
all. How is that even a thing?
So Lil D. Ballin says, I love how this season reminded me of Empire Strikes Back, especially that one particular episode. Eleven's little side journey was a lot like Luke's. P.S. Stay frosty and alert. Hashtag justice for Muse.
First and foremost, I'd like to say that I'm always frosty. That's number one. Rule number 1 of being me. Stay frosty.
That's a good
so
point,
thank
yeah.
you. I appreciate the reminder. However, I do not need it. But Dakota does, so
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm very rarely frosty. So, actually, I never even thought about like the possible connection to Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, I didn't think about that either.
But it kind of actually does make sense, especially because it's her journey to learn more of her skills.
Yeah, find your long-lost sister that's joined the rebellion.
Anonymous Trash, you posted spoilers, so spoiler warning here. I think Season 2 was great, but for me, Season 1 was the best out of the two. This may just be me, but I felt like the CGI used for Kali's powers looked fake. I like her character and hope she'll be in Season 3. Also, I don't feel like there was a lot of character development for Max. I feel like the only reason she was added was for someone to drive the gang, but because Steve refused to get them in danger. But I'm just nitpicking here, and for the most part, I'm happy with how this season turned out. I didn't think 8's powers were necessarily bad CGI. I still think like that's better than the demi-dogs.
Yeah, the demi-dogs didn't look too good to us.
Demi-dogs still looked like it was out of Resident Evil.
But yeah, I kind of see what you're saying as far as the character development with Max. Like, the only thing that we know about her is she's really good at games, and her family situation is not the best. I almost feel like they gave her brother a little more character development.
Because we have a reason for why he acts the way he does.
Yeah, which not that justifies it. Like, he's still like a total douche, but you know, we got a little more into his mind than Max's even.
Yan, you say it's one of those I'll get around to it at some point, I hope, sort of shows. I was like this for Game of Thrones, The Evil Dead, and many more. I'll watch it eventually. I keep meaning to watch Rick and Morty too. That's another show you should definitely put on your queue.
You have a lot of good entertainment ahead of you.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who haven't seen this yet.
Yeah, it's crazy talk.
Luna's going down. Uh-oh.
Oh! So, this is a tree that I used to climb all the time when I was a little kid, whenever my mom or grandma took me here. These rocks, it's like primetime destination, like an easy launching point for any child.
I did not grow up here.
It's like riding a bike. I remember it so well.
What is this thing? The Drusif says, I'm sure I'll be done soon, but for now it's spectacular. And I'm leaning more towards it being as equally enjoyable as the first season. It is such good TV. Netflix is incredible. Now let's see a Ghostbusters live action Netflix series already. I think this is the closest we're gonna get to a Ghostbusters series. I'm sorry, I cannot read your last name, but Arda Iyitanir, I think that's what your name is. You said both seasons are equally fantastic. The first was new, right? Nothing like we have ever seen. But I found the sequel, the continuation of the story, to be better than the first one. In my opinion, first one had more scary moments than this, but they were both great, and I can't wait for the third season.
Yeah, it's true, and I think that's why we were all a little worried about how the next season would be, even though, like, obviously it was really exciting, because Stranger Things season 1 was like nothing we had ever seen before, no show really compared to it. It's like, how do you make that still original? How do you keep it still fresh? And they did such a great job with that, because they did change the vibe up for the show a little bit.
So, Jacko, you're one of the 28% who did not see any of Stranger Things. I have not seen it, but do you think I should watch it? Is it good? By the way, you guys are awesome. Second part, I'm not too sure about, but the first part, definitely watch it.
Yes, absolutely. But thank you for calling us awesome. We appreciate it. We'd like to attribute part of our awesomeness to Stranger Things.
And Luna.
All right, so Taxman for your shekels, aka Richard Poole, has yet to watch Stranger Things. He says, I am not forking out tons of money to watch one or two shows, no matter how highly acclaimed they are. As a matter of principle, I refuse to pay for Netflix, as I dislike it, plus I cannot for financial reasons. We understand.
There's a really good thing you can do. It's called a 30-day free trial. Sign up for it, and you watch all the shows that are on Netflix that you are really interested in, and then you cancel. That's what I suggest, because Stranger Things is definitely worth it. Some of the Marvel Netflix shows also definitely worth it.
Maybe like during a time that you're like off of work, like during winter break or something.
Mr. Unknown, English isn't your first language. German is your first language according to your comment, but I'll read it to the best of my ability. Yeah, I have series that I'm watching at the time, and that would be too much for me. But when I'm done watching Star Wars: The Clone Wars again, I'm going to watch Stranger Things. And totally worth your time.
Yeah. It's good that you have it on your queue.
Zephin says, hard to say for me. Season 1 was great because it was wonderful getting to know these characters and their group dynamic, and also being introduced to this whole new crazy world. Season 2 was great because it took the good stuff from Season 1 and expanded on it while dropping most of the bad stuff from Season 1. It also addressed some fan criticisms from Season 1, plus the added budget didn't hurt. I love both, probably Season 2 better, but only by a little. What problems from Season 1? Just kidding.
I really loved the way that they did that, and I thought it was really clever and self-deprecating humor, which I think is really cool. And Lucian, you say both seasons are equally fantastic. For me, it's hard to choose, but 2 just edges it for being gripping. It did seem to be more cinematic as well, but again, for me, there's only hair's breadth between them. Yeah, it was kind of hard to choose exactly, like, because it's true, our options were either they're equal or season 2 is way better or way worse. So I kind of get what you're saying. It was, you know, kind of right there, but it did push us a little farther.
Look at this dirty little pup's nose.
Icarus 7217. Binge watched all the episodes. It's just as good in my opinion. Yeah, I don't think that the second season flew too close to the sun. Luna's afraid of the airplanes and she keeps looking at them as they go by. She's so curious. The world is her oyster. Casey the Human, you have to say, although I wouldn't call it way better, 2 had to be a better story and more exciting action and character moments, especially with Dustin. And William Neville Jones, you said Stranger Things Season 2 was way better and totally tubular. You can tell I've been really excited to say that. Stranger Things Season 2 was able to apply and expand the formula introduced in the first season with the introduction of some very interesting figures to help progress the story and hint at the coming seasons. But best of all, we got to see Justice for Barb. Hashtag Justice for Barb. They hinted at things to come, you know, in next seasons, but it wasn't like the end of this season was contingent on that. Look at your butt. So I thought that was kind of good. Like, I kind of, you know, sometimes it's nice when there's a cliffhanger ending. Like, Season 1 kind of ended with a cliffhanger, like you knew some crazy stuff was going to happen in the next season. But this season, it kind of felt like everything was wrapped up, but there's still more. All right, so Queen Moriarty, you say both seasons are equally fantastic. I can't decide on which one is better. One thing is certain, the actors are all wonderful. Music is great too. The only thing that bothers me is that sometimes the way it is filmed makes some details unnecessarily obvious, like the close-up of the 8 tattoo in Season 2, Episode 1. I feel like shots like this take away the gratifying feeling of noticing these details by yourself.
And I actually want to touch upon that, because I totally agree, especially because there's that scene, I think it's in episode 5 or 6, where Eleven sees the flashback in the rainbow room of the Indian girl, and you start to think, oh, maybe that girl in the beginning was one of those. So I totally understand what you're saying. There are
it
points
didn't need to
like
be so blatant. I just realized that it has like 2 zeros in front of the 8, and I wonder if they were planning on making that go into the hundreds, or, you know,
possibly.
And we have Joe Sheep. You said, I felt a lot of the cast chemistry was much better this season and that they worked better together. I also really liked the new characters, Max, Bob, Dr. Owens, 8, etc., and thought they fit in well. The effects are also much better due to the budget, and the story was a great follow-up to the first season. Dart pre-eating the cat was adorable, and I liked how much we focused on Dustin and Lucas more than Mike, who we had explored more in the first season. Will was amazing. especially as he was locked in the Upside Down, and I liked counting how many times his name was shouted. It was really cool to see Eleven use her full power thanks to the help from her sister, especially with her fights with Hopper and when she closes the breach. I haven't even mentioned the 80s references yet. Overall, this season was funnier, scarier, more intriguing, and exciting. So very positive thoughts there. And if you guys didn't know, our previous video was about a game that we made up called Will Call, where you count the amount of times that you hear Will shouted. We have rules and stuff, so if you're interested, check that out.
Check out the video, click the card. Also, Dart, I think Dart's most adorable phase was post eating that Three Musketeers bar, personally.
Yeah, when he let them pass at the very end, that was very cute. It was like, I remember when we were friends back in my youth, aka yesterday.
I think the best 80s reference that they snuck in was Bob.
Yeah.
Was Bob when he was looking through all those papers on the walls, and he sees the X and goes, X marks the spot, what's that, pirate treasure? That's a Goonies reference. And
which he was in.
He was the main character of the Goonies. Guys, thank you so very much for watching this video today. Last week we had so much fun doing this with our last Geekly Poll that we decided to make this a Geekly feature, basically. This has been a real fun thing, so we're going to try to find as many cool spots to film this as possible. What do you guys think? If this is the first video, please check out the other one, because we had a lot of fun there. That was beautiful too. Jen, what did you think of this?
It's fun.
As you can tell. Guys, Thor Ragnarok comes out this weekend, and for our next Geekly Poll, because the Rotten Tomatoes score was so high, we want to know if the Rotten Tomatoes score has any effect on if you want to see a movie or not. So be there Sunday.
Or be square.
On Sunday. 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Bye.